The moment that everything changed for me was when I shared that I was going through a divorce. This idea of leaving someone who is so great, but maybe isn't the one for you, resonated with people.
Can you repeat again what you said?
Yeah, he's a good guy, but he's not the one for me.
Welcome to another episode of Creator Method. Today we have Alessia Scauzillo with us, a former corporate finance professional who traded spreadsheets for self-care and built a trusted wellness community on Instagram of over 110,000 people. After earning her CPA and working in banking at RBC, she followed her true passion and launched a Sculpt Body or A Sculpt Body.
Yeah.
Okay. A digital fitness platform built on low impact workouts, body confidence, and sustainable movement. She's since grown into a leading voice for wellness, self-love, and authenticity, sharing not just workouts, but honest conversations about grief, career transitions, and relationships. And before we dive in, a huge congratulations to Alessia on her recent engagement.
Thank you.
We're excited to unpack her journey from finance to founder. I almost said from fiancé to founder, but then I read it again and I was like, it's a good thing I caught myself. Yeah. It's the creator, and we're going to be unpacking the creator strategy behind her growth and what's next for her brand. So first of all, yes, congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you, Gary.
I had met your boyfriend at the time, who was now your fiancé, at one of our workshops in Toronto.
That's right.
And it was awesome to meet him.
He says to say hi, by the way.
Good. I was hoping he was going to say hi. So I could say hi back. No, he's a really cool guy, and I really liked your. I don't know if it's a strategy or if you were respecting his privacy, of not showing his face. You were like, hiding it off from the side, and was that intentional, or was he just like, I'm not down with being in your content?
At first, it was because of what we discussed, keeping him private. Yeah. And knowing my content is like about me and my story, and keeping it around that. He's a part of my story, but he's not all of it. Sure. So, and he's also like a regular person who has a regular job. He's an engineer.
You know what I call those people?
What?
In our field, I call them civilians.
So he's a civilian.
Yes, he's a civilian.
I love that. He's a civilian. He's an engineer. He has like a regular life. And we just decided it'd be best for our relationship for his identity and his face to not be out there. However, over time, that has proven to be really intriguing to people. So while he's like now fine to be part of my content, we both are like, well, let's maybe keep him hidden a little bit longer. And who knows how long, but it's something that is like, people are intrigued. They're like, what does he look like? Who is he? It's a bit mysterious. So we're like, let's run with it.
So you haven't, I don't think, have you? No, you haven't disclosed his identity
and
yet.
I don't know if or when I will. Yeah.
Okay. You're very interesting to me.
Oh, thank you.
You're somewhat of an anomaly, because you went from being this, super kind of corporate, type A, highly organized, which you still are a highly organized person, I'm sure. But you went from corporate into what I call the arts, right? To me, content creation is very much about the arts. It's an artistic endeavor. I want to understand kind of your early career, and then I want to jump into kind of, really tackling what that transition looked like. But in terms of your early career, why finance? What was the premise of this whole thing?
Well, I really took a traditional path where I went to university, got a job right out of a university that just made sense. Like, I studied business, and it was like, okay, what am I going to do? My dad is a CA.
Sure.
And my mom was in banking as well. And so it was just like the obvious next thing. I didn't really think about what I actually wanted. And I was good at it. Like, I studied accounting and finance at school, and I was like, okay, this just makes sense. So I worked at RBC. I got my I worked at PwC, got my CPA.
These are all fancy letters, so I just want to tell everybody. PwC is PricewaterhouseCoopers. And RBC is Royal Bank of Canada.
That's right.
Okay. These are institutions. These are like finance institutions.
So I graduated from McGill University. And I went to work at PricewaterhouseCoopers, where I got my CPA designation.
Yes.
Okay, that was 3 years. And then I was like, I still don't really know what I want to do next, but I know I love to be client facing. So how can I do something that keeps that, but keeps my doors open? So that's when I went into corporate banking at RBC, and I was there for 6 years. Basically lending money to medium-sized companies for them to make acquisitions, grow, do payouts to their shareholders, whatever that was. And it was like assessing if lending money to them made sense if the bank was going to get repaid. Okay, so this was what I was doing before. Very different than what I do now.
Clearly.
However, a lot of overlap in the skills that I learned at that time. So like problem solving, like was given things and it was like, go figure it out, like by senior people. Presentation skills. Every Wednesday for years at RBC, I had to present in front of like 50, 100, 150 people, some in person, some over the phone. So I learned all these skills that apply so much to my career now. I just didn't know it at the time. And I realized after some time at RBC that I did not love what I was doing. Like I didn't feel fueled by it. And I also had a toxic boss that just kind of made the whole situation worse. So I started teaching fitness on the side for fun because I didn't know what I wanted to do next. Turned out I loved that.
Sorry, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I just want to stop right there for a second. So a lot of people, when they're in a job that it sounds to me like it's fairly high pressure.
Yeah.
I know it firsthand. I actually dated someone who worked at PwC.
Okay.
Probably 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I remember she never had time. She always had to go to work.
Yeah.
She always around the clock, late nights. So, but it's stable, right? It's these are institutions. You have a stable income. And before I kind of get into your transition from leaving that, because I think that's a key moment I want to plug into, but even just doing this on the side, like how did you find time considering what I know about a career in finance, especially when you're young and when you're starting out? It's like 80-hour weeks. How did you have time? Is that correct that you were working crazy hours?
It was,
right.
Yeah.
How did you have time to teach fitness on the side?
Well, I was working crazy hours and it was deals based. So when a deal would drop, you had to like drop everything in your life and go do that.
Right.
So it was really hard, but it was because I got to a place where I was so unhappy, like a rock bottom of like, I am so stressed out. I'm losing my hair. My skin is like going crazy. I'm like lost so much weight.
I saw those old pictures of you that you posted when you're doing kind of the side by side.
You see those? Yeah.
Well, yeah, of you in your 20s and you now, right?
I look completely different.
Yeah.
It was like soul sucking.
Right.
And so I created time early in the morning, late at night, and on weekends. I would teach fitness or practice teaching fitness. So in the morning at around 7 a.m., I used to live in this condo and I would go down to the party room at my condo building and practice teaching. Then I would go to work. And then at night, twice a week during the week at 8 p.m. I think it was, I would run from my finance job to go teach fitness, and then on the weekends too. So it was like I had to take time out of other things. Was I giving my then partner at the time, all the attention that I could have? No. My friends, probably not. But I knew that it was a short-term thing that I had to really invest in how I was going to make this next move, and I created time in my life to do that.
Yeah. I noticed that there's this kind of common thread that I see, or this like common trait that I see in people who succeed in content creation, that they're kind of, before content creation came along, they were aggressive in pursuing whatever it was, whatever it was at that time. So, the amount of effort that you put in and the fact that you created this, you said I created this time. I mean, you didn't create.
I took it away from other things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And, another thing suffered. But the point is that having that work ethic and having those organizational skills, these are all things that, completely, like directly contributed to what you're doing now and contributed to the success
totally
that you've had. So you started doing this, you're working on the side, you're doing these classes. How did you, when you say classes, you went to a gym and you said, hey, can I teach a class here?
Exactly.
And then it was just whoever was going to the gym would be the people that you would teach a class to.
Correct.
And so what happened, at what point did it kind of get enough scale that you said, okay, I'm going to start creating content on Instagram, and I'm trying to understand how this whole shift happened.
So what happened was I started teaching workouts in studios. So I would have 20 or 30 people. And by the way, to your point earlier, it was exhausting, but because the workouts gave me so much energy, and I get a lot of questions of like, how do you know what you want to do next if you want to make a change? And I always say, go where your energy goes. Was I doing this stuff at 7 a.m., 8 p.m. all weekend long, where other people might be exhausted? Yes. Was I so energized and lit up by it? Yes. Like it didn't feel exhausting to me at that time because it was where my energy was flowing. So I was teaching these workouts and I realized I loved it. And I was like, okay, but wait a second, because then my business finance mind came in. It's like, can I make money teaching classes full time in a gym?
Yeah.
No. Can I have the lifestyle that I want to have? Flexibility? No. So how am I going to then teach fitness and have this? I was like, I'm going to go online. And by the way, this was before COVID, before anyone.
What year was this?
2019.
Okay.
I'm going to create an online fitness platform, and I am going to put workouts on there, and people are going to do my workouts online. Everyone thought I was nuts. And then what happened was I had been building it for months, and then COVID hit, and I had been ready to launch in April.
Sorry, but hold on a sec.
Yeah.
I apologize for interrupting, but you were building already the monetization engine, but it sounds to me like before
Correct.
you had the social media audience.
So the
how
social media.
How are you planning
Yeah.
on getting subscribers into your platform if you didn't have the audience?
Totally. So it's coming. So what I realized was no one's going to come to my in-person workouts and no one's going to do my online workouts if I'm not on social media.
Okay.
Why I started my account is because when you do a new workout and go to a new studio, what do? You look up that person and see, do I like their vibe? Should I do their class or should I do someone else's? So I started my account in March of 2019 sharing fitness tips because I wanted people to come to my workouts. And then I continued to share fitness and wellness
You're
tips.
talking about Instagram right now.
Instagram.
Okay.
I continued to share fitness and wellness tips so that people would do my online workouts. And then very quickly, I realized no one cared about workouts.
Okay.
And people were way more interested in me.
And you. Yeah.
And so then my content really started to evolve from there. And I started to share a lot more like wellness, mindfulness, supplements, tips. It really went into that wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it started going into more beauty, more fashion. And where it really changed was when I started talking about my life.
It's sorry to cut you
Yeah.
off. It's so it's so interesting because it kind of follows this thesis that I have with really being. I hate to use the word authentic because it's so overused, but
Yeah.
it's in my. For me, it's a bit of a different context. When people think authentic, it's like when you're on there, I'm really going to talk about what's going on. But when I'm talking about authentic, I'm looking at it, I'm zooming out, and I'm looking more on the macro, where rather than you saying, okay, I'm only doing this is the only thing that I'm doing, I'm only doing fitness, you understood, you had the wherewithal to see that when you give even a little bit about who you are, I don't want to say from a personal side, it's as personal as you allow it to be because you choose what you put out, right?
Yeah.
But when you start really sharing with people and connecting with people, your content, like everything, like your whole career, the flow of your business, everything takes on this like accelerated path. So I want to point that out because I think that's important.
It is important. And that was the pivotal moment for me. And to use your own language, it was when I built a connection with my audience. You talk about the word connection a lot. And I think the moment that everything changed for me was when I shared that I was going through a divorce.
Right.
And that video was meant to update my community that I was.
That was a reel. You did as a reel.
I did a reel.
How many views did that one get?
1 million
Yeah.
in the first couple weeks. And then it continued to grow. It was crazy. That video was meant to update my community on where I was at with my relationship and why. And in the most general terms and at high level, what happened with my relationship and what that video covered was he's a great guy. Our relationship was good, but he is not the one for me, and we are going our separate ways.
Right.
And I have nothing bad to say about him. And this idea of leaving someone who is so great, but maybe isn't the one for you, resonated with people. Like, I cannot even understand it even now. Like, I couldn't have imagined, and I'm still like, whoa. And it's like,
But it's awesome. Sorry, but like it's amazing, right? Because you didn't even intentionally go out and do like all this research. Or no, but this is interesting because you didn't intentionally go out, do all this research, get like a PhD in psychology specializing in relationships. No, you were an observer of your own life, and you made the statement to your audience that he's not a bad guy. Not everybody is. What can you repeat again? What you said?
He's a good guy, but he's not the one for me.
Right. So that's simple.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, but he's not the one for me. That penetrated so deep into that kind of the zeitgeist of society in that moment to be like, oh, divorce doesn't have to be this like huge ugly thing, and this it's literally that simple, and it can be. And it's fine. It could be no hard feelings. You split up, you move on with your life. But my point is that you discovered that by simply being observer of your own life and putting it into your social media, everyone's going crazy. They're getting all these fancy degrees trying to figure this shit out. And you're just like, you made a simple statement.
Happened to me. Yeah.
And there you go.
And that has been such a driver of my content since then, is this idea that like in all the realms, not just relationships, but in your work, in your friendships, just because it's good on paper, it seems good, it doesn't mean that you have to stay, and you can and should have the bravery to walk away from something that is okay, good, for the right thing for you.
Of course.
And I did that with my finance career.
Yeah.
I walked away from an almost 10-year finance career that was great on paper. I was getting promoted, I was doing well, I was making money, all these things. And I was like, I just don't feel in my heart that this is for me. Same thing with my marriage. We were together 12 years, married for 4.
I didn't know we were together for 12. Wow.
We met in college. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We were together 12 years. We essentially grew up together.
Yeah.
He had met my mom, who passed away when I was like 20. So, you know, we were together 12 years, married for 4. We had a house, we had all these things, but it wasn't the right thing. We had evolved through it, and it was that's okay. I think women are really scared to walk away from things. They're scared to be alone. They're scared to lose the thing. They're scared for so many reasons, and like I'm here to tell them that it is okay. That
you're giving me shivers. Yeah,
really.
Yeah, no, you are because I'm thinking about it in kind of the context of my own life. When Valeria and I got married, if you don't mind,
of course, go ahead.
When Valeria and I got married, I mean, it's no secret. Like Valeria's a lot younger than I am, right? And she was 20 when we met. She was 21 when we got married. So I knew, and I was 38. So I knew in my mind, like there was a massive risk because the woman that she was, the person that she was at 21, because I remember myself at 21,
completely different.
21 to 38. I was a completely different person. What I can say is from 38 to 52, I'm just an evolved version of my 38-year-old self.
Totally.
I knew Valeria was going to be a complete, like not who she would be. And so for me, I knew I had to evolve along the way in order to keep the relationship, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of the things that could have happened with you is that you both evolved on different paths.
We did.
But I made it a point to be like, I'm going to, like, this is going to work.
Totally.
And so it's interesting kind of, you know, what you're saying. That's why it's giving me shivers.
Yeah. And I think that's so beautiful. And I also think that is rare. Like for people to evolve together starting from such a young age is so rare and so amazing.
One, but for you,
so Valeria, when she met you, was the same age essentially as when I met my ex.
Yeah.
And so it's so beautiful that you guys have evolved together and stayed so close and have this amazing relationship. That is not how it worked out for us.
And that's not how it worked for you, yeah.
And like that's okay. Like
that's okay.
It's okay to walk away. It's okay to start new. And it's actually amazing to make the brave choice to know that you're going to be okay no matter what you decide.
Yeah.
And that's like the core of my message. Yeah.
I wanna go back a second, and I want to talk about the transition professionally. Financially, that must have been a difficult thing to do.
Very.
Because working at RBC, it was PwC then RBC, right? Yeah. Working at RBC, these are good compensations, and they're stable.
Totally.
And you know, if you do the math on being there long enough, I know that PwC you can become a partner. I don't know if you could. RBC, they don't have a partner program.
Yeah, RBC is not partners, but if you're there, you work up the ladder, you eventually become a director, a managing director, and like lead.
Super secure.
Extremely secure.
Right.
Correct.
So you not only were walking away from whatever your compensation was at that time. How old were you when you left RBC?
I was 27, I think. Yeah.
28? You're 27 years old at a reasonably senior position at RBC.
Yeah, I was VP. Yeah.
Okay, you're a VP at the age of 27. So not only are you walking away from the compensation you were making, you also can look back historically and you know what happens, you know, from the position you're in now, map it out a decade later, and now you know what your comp is.
And all my friends who I still maintain connection with are in those places. They've stayed at RBC, and now 10 years later, they are like leaders in the organization.
Alessia, how old are you?
So I'm 34.
Okay. So this happened, I'm asking for context because this was 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, you left your job.
I left 6 years ago. So
you were 28.
So I was 28, yeah. So my mistake.
Okay,
yeah.
So I guess my question to you at the age of 28, having an amazing income, knowing that 10 years later, you can already see that path. This isn't a new industry. Leaving that, going towards something that granted fulfills you in many different ways. personally, professionally. It makes you truly happy, but you are giving up this financial freedom and stability and future, accelerated financial success for something that, 8 years ago, and even today, quite frankly, there's no guarantee, right? I believe that with content creation, anybody can get to the point where they are at least making the equivalent of employment income and more. And then you always have this lottery ticket that one day you'll have accelerated growth and you'll make significantly more, and you can launch businesses and do all those beautiful things. I guess I'm trying to come back, and I'm really trying to understand the psychology because of the bravery that you had to have had at the age of 28 to leave something so stable and lucrative. How did you, I'm just trying to get to the question.
It's a great question.
As I'm asking, I'm trying to understand, because I would have been scared shitless at such a young age.
So I was very scared.
Yeah.
And everyone around me thought it was a bad idea. Okay. So not only am I dealing with my own fears, I'm dealing with the fears of my then partner, my family, everyone saying, are you sure this is crazy? This is not, in 2019 or 2018, whatever it was, this industry was not where it's at now. So everyone thought I was insane. I had this inner feeling of, I know I want to do this, so how do I make this happen? I created an 18-month cash flow, because I came from finance.
Good for you.
I created an 18-month cash flow that looked at all of my costs for the business, my costs for my life, what savings did I had, and what reasonable assumptions could I make about what money I'd be earning in this field. Because I had my online fitness platform, it is subscription based. So I could make some assessments of okay, in month 1, this many subscriptions, month 2.
Sorry. But you left before you started the subscriptions, or it was already cash flowing?
It was all happening basically at the same time. It wasn't really cash flowing yet.
So did the one thing that I guess give you a feeling of security was that you could always go back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So my old bosses had said to me, you're welcome to come back here, especially as a woman in finance. A lot of women fall off once they're in their 30s. They start families.
Right.
It's actually really hard to retain women or bring them back. So they had said to me, you are welcome to come back. And I knew I had that kind of landing. I also, before I officially quit, took a 6-month sabbatical from RBC to really give my content creation fitness business 100% of my energy to see what would come out of it. So between saving a ton, mapping out my cash flow over the next 18 months, this 6-month sabbatical where I could test it without having lost my job at RBC, between all those things, I felt you know what? I feel good. I feel secure enough where I'm taking this risk, but it's a calculated risk.
Yeah.
It's not a crazy risk where I'm unprepared, I'm not budgeted, I don't have savings. It's none of that. It's no, I'm doing the thing, but I've prepared for this. And I'm ready to go after all this time of planning.
I want to just make a comment about this. And I want to, if I may, as somebody who's been in business for a while, those kind of risk decisions, those decisions in general involving risk and making those assessments, they're actually going to continue going on. There is no finish line.
Yeah, right.
Well, even for us, we got to a certain point, and we're sitting in Canada, and we came here for just 2 months, and we're we're going to move to Miami. And the kind of lift, just financially and just psychologically, to immigrate to another country with little kids and so we're constantly, making those decisions. So. Welcome aboard. You'll be doing it forever. Yeah.
And I just went through it again, making my first big full-time hire.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I wanted to update you on.
Please.
I made it. I hired a VP operations. I hired a recruitment firm to help me find the best person for this job. The recruitment firm was an investment. This person is a really major investment. But I'm this is the time. I've been saving for this. I know that it's necessary to grow and get to the next step. So I need to feel the fear and do it anyways. Move through my fear.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
What I remember when I told Valeria for the first time, we need to hire a CEO for the company. She's like, "Are you a lunatic? What company? What are you talking about?"
It's me and the camera.
No, but we had already, I think 7 or 8 employees.
Okay.
I'm like, we need somebody to run it. She goes, "You're running it." I'm like, no. I'm going to do other things. I'm going to do other things to. She's like, "You're crazy." And to your point, we also made that investment in the recruiter. Everybody thought we were nuts. Primarily, they thought I was nuts and Valeria was just giving in to me. But and that's Rachel, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
she's been with
Yeah.
us for 6 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything that's kind of ensued since. So look, I'm a big believer. Can I give you some just a word of advice on that? The word of advice I want to give you. Did they already start, this person? Okay, how long?
It's been 6 weeks.
6 weeks. How's it going?
Great.
Great.
Yes,
Okay.
great.
The word of advice I would want to give is that don't underestimate the amount of training and it's not even training because they're
It's like onboarding. It's like
onboarding, yeah.
sharing the knowledge. And I thank you for that.
And expectations.
And expectations.
Yeah.
It's like I've been doing this for 6 years now. I've learned a lot.
Sure.
And someone coming in with other amazing business marketing agency experience, that's really, really great. But there is some stuff that is just like integral of my brand that is in me that I need to like transfer over. And I'm fine.
True.
And it's like, that's a process.
It's more difficult in this business. And you know, it's more difficult in this business, especially from your vantage point as being the face of everything and the personal brand. Because when you hire someone, let's say if you sell vacuum cleaners, right? As an example, you can hire somebody to come in. It's very kind of methodical and systematic.
Yeah.
Whereas they're dealing with a nuance where you're putting your face on everything. It's your personal brand. So there's and I have to say, like, there were times when imagine that there's Rachel, Valeria, and me.
That's a lot of dynamics.
You know, there's a lot of dynamic going on there, and we get through it. But there are times when we would argue and stuff. So
Totally. And I mean, Sari, that's the name of the VP Ops, she joined. So let me tell you the sequence of events. My partner and I got engaged on the Friday.
When's the wedding day?
We don't.
I know. I saw you. Everyone's asking you.
We're trying not to rush, but we have started to talk about it and think about it a little bit.
Good.
So we got engaged on the Friday. We packed up the house we were living in all summer up at a cottage on the Saturday. We moved to a new house on Sunday, and Sari started on Monday. So if you can imagine, she really started in the thick of the storm.
Oh, I imagine it. Yeah,
like it was
good,
crazy. And in the moment, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much." But now I'm like, you know what? That is kind of representative of what this job is.
Perfect.
Yeah. If she can handle that, she can handle the easy days.
I love it. You know, whenever we hire somebody new, we don't have to look far. Ariel is here, my new EA.
Nice.
We just like throw them into the fire.
Totally.
And it's like, this is it. This is what's happening every day. Welcome to content creation, right?
Yeah.
I want to get into a little bit more on kind of tactics and strategy and stuff. But before we do, I want to understand right now your brand mission. Right, and it's gone through some evolutions. What is your message to your audience? Is women? I'm making that assumption.
Yes.
I see your content. Obviously, I know you. What is your underlying premise and thesis to women right now?
It's to inspire women to feel their best and create the life of their dreams.
Okay.
So that is both with my, advice and inspiration that I give around relationships, around bravery, around career, all that stuff. And then it's also some of the lighter things like beauty and fashion and recommendations and the wellness stuff and the workouts to feel really good. It's this like holistic perspective on inspiring women to do the things that make them feel amazing and create the life that they want, whatever that looks like.
I love this messaging, and I have to just to give you some kind of my observation is that I really like the evolution of your content over the last like 18 months.
Thank you.
Since you've gotten on my radar, and I've seen I just hate this word authentic, but it just seems more true to you. I feel that before, and this isn't unique to you, is like we're all almost playing a role of who we think the audience needs us to be in order to get that attention. And I've really noticed that shift for you to be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. Take it, or you know what I mean? That's how I'm
Totally.
that's what I'm seeing with you.
And that's how I feel. So thank you for saying that, because I have been really trying to evolve my content and show where I'm at in my life now. It felt for a while there like I was stuck in my past and in my story of my divorce and leaving my previous relationship. And that was all people cared about from me. And then therefore that was all I was giving them. And it was like this loop. But actually since then have met an amazing person who is my dream partner. We're building this life together. We're engaged. Like all this amazing stuff has happened. And I've been so ready to evolve my content. And I have been evolving. Yeah. With that comes some dips. Like some people don't like stay for that. And I think joining Creator Method and talking to you and Rachel about it has helped me feel more comfortable with that, honestly. Of like, listen, those people can go. They're not your people anyways, you know?
Of course.
But that's hard with the numbers when they go down, right?
That's a nice segue into kind of, because I plan these, I have my little notes here, but that's actually a good segue into the next section here. Whereas I do want to talk about kind of what your potential blockers are and how I can help in any way, if I can offer any help. But, you just said something really interesting in terms of these dips. I want you to know that we talk about these dips on the Valeria side all the time. Like we only really start talking about it when it becomes more of a macro dip where it's like a trend over like a week or 2 weeks. It's just so normal. And, the interesting thing is on social media, and what makes social media, it's kind of like, it's a double-edged sword. It's both good and bad. It's that you can track your reach in real time.
Yes.
Right? Like a stock.
What other job is there?
Like a stock market ticker,
Totally.
Right?
But what other job is there where your performance is visible all day, every day?
Like in real time, at every
Other
moment.
than like an athlete or something,
Well, it's that trailing 30-day number. A lot of people most people focus on followers. Most creators focus on followers.
Yeah.
I actually focus on trailing 30-day reach, right? Which is that when you're logged into your account, that main number that you see. That's what I look at. And look at traditional artists. Look at the Mariah Careys of the world, or whoever you're into, and whoever you like. I mean, these are musicians who they put out content, or comedians or whatever. They don't have this ticker. Everything is kind of like it's based on the feeling of how they're doing right now. Oh, they blew up. What does blow up? You ever heard the term? Oh, this person blew up.
Yeah.
This is like pre-social media. What does blow up mean? How do you know? Like The Weeknd, he blew up.
Yeah.
But there's no metrics on it. But now there's metrics on it.
Right.
So we constantly have this pressure. We have to take this pressure off of ourselves, because we cannot control these kind of things. We can't control this. All we can't control the follower count. We can control the number to the left of it, which is the number of posts. So how have you been dealing with this kind of, besides hearing me and Rachel kind of rant and rave about it, but how have you kind of stopped letting these numbers define your self-worth?
I love that question, because I've been doing something the last probably 4 months differently than I ever have, which is not look at them. I quite literally don't care.
Yeah.
I don't look at them. I create based on what I want to create, what is happening in my life, what I feel excited about, what I feel joyful about, and I post. And then I ghost, and I don't look at anything.
Yeah.
I let my team let me know when something is doing really well that we should recreate it, or really badly and we probably shouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
And not luckily, I've built a team around me that is looking at that and supporting me and helping me to concept ideas and create and edit the content and all of that. But it has been so amazing for my mental health to not be tracking so closely. It's like you can't post and then refresh and then watch it and look at the comments and see the likes, because then all you're going to do is react to that in your creation. And I find for my most creative self, I need to be in my life. I need to be like
absolutely
feeling good, feeling joyful, leaning into like the love and happiness and opportunities in my life, not looking at whatever's happening on social. And then like, as Gabby Bernstein puts it, I'm a spiritual person, so I'll reference her, not leaning into the fear and the scarcity mindset. You need to have an abundance mindset. And to do that, I cannot be looking at how everything performs. And also, by the way, I can't be looking at what everyone else is doing.
It's a trap, It really is a trap. It really is a trap. But yeah, it's important. It sounds so kind of cliche. It's important to be happy, and I mean it's important to be happy overall as human beings.
Yeah.
But I have seen a direct correlation, quite frankly, into our revenues. That tie in directly to a much larger degree Valeria, because she's obviously the face of everything. But even for me, the happier we are, it completely coincides. It's like but last month I feel really good about last month. And I look at the revenues, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like what? It's not, and it keeps happening, and it's not a coincidence. So now
it's like energetic. It's like when you put that goodness out into the world and you feel really good, you attract.
But when you
abundance.
So here's I just got this revelation talking to you, and so imagine this. When you talk about, and you're a spiritual person, you believe in energy, as do I, and so when we talk about putting energy out into the world, imagine you don't have social media and you're putting energy out in the world. So When you meet someone, you say hello, you'll meet your 3 or 4 or 5 exchanges every single day. Oh, great, how are you? It's good. And when you have that energy, you're putting it out into the world, and it's great because it comes back, opportunities come, somebody will meet you and say, oh, I met Alessia, she's so sweet. Like, what a nice person she is. Like, she has this fitness thing. You should check it out. Great. But now imagine you have that same happiness, but your megaphone isn't limited to 5 people a day. Now your megaphone is thousands, tens of thousands, millions of people a day. Now that changes everything. So even now that positive energy, that happiness, that positivity that so many creators talk about, it's so much more important because of the reach that we have with this positivity. So, Valeria and I always talk about it, and I always say we have to keep reinvesting back into our happiness. So whatever that means. For me, it's like my man cave, which I just been setting up, and I'm super excited about. What is it for you? How do you reinvest back into your happiness to drive your business forward?
That's a great question. And actually, last fall, I was feeling really depleted, and it was after a Creator Method call where you had said, if you're feeling depleted, like step away and go take a vacation, do something that makes you feel good.
And I think you went on. I literally saw you.
I went on a wellness retreat.
Yes.
It was like
it was all girls, right? Is that the one, or is that
that's a different one? I hosted that one in Costa Rica.
Yes.
But I actually took myself out of my environment for 3 days.
Good.
I went into the country and I was off my phone, and I came back with more ideas and more joy within myself than I had felt in so
Did you take your partner with you?
No, by myself.
How did you explain it to him?
I
Without
said,
him getting upset about it?
Oh, he's the most understanding person
Sure.
in the world, first of all. And second of all, I just told him what I needed. This is how I'm feeling, and this is what I needed, and this is what I'm going to do. And he was like, great. Like,
is he
so
here in
supportive.
town for the summit?
He's not. I'm here with my best friend.
Okay, awesome.
She lives in New York. And so when we do these travel things, like we meet up. So she was here for work. She invited me. It coincided with the Creator Method Summit. And so it was like all perfect.
And you're bringing her?
No. She's going to do her own thing on Sunday. I mean, I guess she could come. I don't know why not.
She can come. We have +1s. You just got to let someone know.
Interesting.
But let them know.
She is she's almost one hair away, a partner from at Deloitte.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so she's really successful in her career. We met at McGill University in class together. So she was at Deloitte, I was at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and she stayed that path, and I went in a completely different direction, but we stayed close. But in terms of finding joy in my life, yes.
I want to know.
It is putting down my phone and walking out the door, going for a walk, going and doing anything with my partner, and getting out of my work and into my life. That's on the smallest scale. On a bigger scale, is it going on a trip? Is it getting out, in nature, whatever? Yes, but that's only once every quarter or, maybe a couple months, whatever. But the immediate thing that I do to find joy is literally put my phone away and walk out the front door of my house.
You know what I think else is really important is not feeling guilt when you have to do it.
No.
Because as a creator, I mean, if you're not a creator, you can go ahead and feel guilty for slacking off. But as a creator specifically, if you are not reinvesting back into your own happiness and doing the things that you're talking about, for me, it's a little different. For me, it's motorcycles.
Yeah.
And, whatever.
I love my partner just sold his motorcycle, but he
Did
had
you make
one.
him do it? Did you make him do it? No.
He chose to do it. He said, now that we're getting married, hopefully starting a family soon, it's not the time in my life for a motorcycle anymore. I was devastated. I was like, I love your motorcycle.
Remember that scene from what's that show, Gossip Girls, or no? It's like the mother and the daughter, and there's a clip, and she was screaming at her daughter through the door. She goes, "If you're gonna ruin your life, you better have a motorcycle." Anyways, I'll send you the clip. It's
Send it to me. I don't know it.
It's
I get the motorcycle thing, I do, but I think it's whatever that joyful thing is, it's going and doing it, not feeling guilty about it. And honestly, every time I do it, I come back and I have way more ideas than I had when I left. So it's like learning that like actually real goodness comes out of it, and giving yourself permission to step away.
What is the next 12 months? How big is your team right now? Are you able to say?
Yeah, we were 4. We just lost someone, and we're hiring that position. So right now we're 3, but on an ongoing basis, we're 4 people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's your plan for the next 12 months? How are you expanding and I'm assuming, and again, feel free to tell me it's none of my business, because I'm always sensitive on the business side of this, but your main revenue models, I'm guessing, are this continued subscriptions and brand partnerships.
Now it's brand partnerships.
Right.
It's primarily brand partnerships.
And it's exceeded.
That's 90%.
Amazing.
95 almost.
We have a lot of experience in that, and we'll talk more about that, and we're going to talk about how we're going to support you in that. But how are you finding it? Because how many years have you been working with brands now?
Working with brands probably 4 years.
How do you find it?
I love it. I love creating content in general, and then I love creating partnership content. I love integrating the product or service, weaving it into my story. I'm very thoughtful about that. I try and make it as confusing as possible as to what's paid and what's not.
Besides the fact that you're disclosing it with the tool, right?
Of course. But in terms of how seamlessly I try and integrate
it's perfect. Yeah, that's
like I really focus on that so it doesn't feel like an ad, you know?
So do you push back when they come to you with like, I was just speaking from our own experience.
Yeah.
When they come to you say, this is the creative brief.
Yeah.
And you look at it and it's shit.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I try and explain to them what typically works and what my messaging is and how I would do it so that it resonates with my community. They can then choose to say, oh, we want that, like we want it to resonate with your community, or no, we need this for paid, like we just want it to look this way. And I'm like, okay, fine, like great. I'll always, like, I come from a client service background in finance, so like I'll always deliver on what the client wants, you know?
Yeah.
But I do have recommendations of like what I know works and what I know doesn't.
Have you been noticing a trend in terms of, are they becoming, in the last 4 years, are they becoming more open to letting you take the reins creatively?
Definitely.
They are becoming more open to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been...
It was like, I knew the answer, but I wanted to hear. Yeah. I wanted
and
to
I've
hear.
been developing these partnerships with these brands where I've worked with the same brand many, many times.
Sure.
There's a handful of brands that I've worked with year over year, multiple years now. And so some of them don't even look at my content before I they're like, do whatever you want. Like, we don't care, you know? And so that's really, really nice. And a lot of the feedback I get, which again comes back to my finance background, is like from the brands, like you don't feel like a typical influencer that we work with. You're so organized, you have your shit together, like you know how to put the results together in a way that like is understandable for us, and like all these things that actually don't have to do with the content, but like keep you working with the brand.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know?
I want to put you on the spot. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And maybe I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty observant. Do you have a podcast?
So I dabbled with one, quickly realized that it was so much work and I needed the right team in place to support me in it. And so I paused it. I did about 30 episodes and paused it. In the last 4, 5, 6 months, I've had the biggest itch to start it, and really, especially now that I have my VP operations, like proper team support, and to relaunch it, because I love being on a mic. I love sharing my story in long form. I love it.
Yeah.
I like light up on a mic.
Speaking with you, this is one of the most fun podcasts I've ever done. And I've done
thanks, Carrie.
No, this is awesome. I'm having such a good time.
Me too.
It's like I'm looking at the time. It's kind of going long, but I'm really having a good time.
Yeah, I actually have no idea what time it is. You know when you're in that flow state?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what time it is. I don't know where I am.
I'm really enjoying myself. And so like I'm by the way, like I rarely, like 90% of what we're talking about, I haven't even like
classic.
But no, in speaking with you, I would consider it a crime for you not to have a podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I really do. It's a bit of a lift.
I think it might be the push that I needed, because I've been feeling it, so pulled to it. I feel like I know what I want is to share my message and to be speaking and to be on stages and do all these things. Like, how could I not be having a podcast to like catapult all of that?
Can I give you a suggestion on how I think you should do it?
Yeah.
So from a production perspective, I think you should use a studio like we're in now. Yeah. There's the equivalent of these kind of places in Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean, there's friends of mine. I'm not pitching them, but like Neighborhood Creative. I'm sure you know.
I don't know them actually. No.
You don't know Neighborhood Creative?
No.
I'll introduce you to the owners directly. They're great guys. They've got a great infrastructure, and it's a similar concept to this, where we're in a studio. And just for everybody, this isn't my studio.
Yeah, this is like
this is somebody who we're really happy with. Content HQ, right? Yes, Content HQ. This is Content HQ.
Yeah.
And so there is the equivalent of this in Toronto, where you sit down, you come in, you've got your logo up on the screen, and you film your podcast, and then they will create the long form edits, the short form edits.
They do all that
audio, and then they just give you the assets, and then you can go ahead and post them. So, it's such a worthwhile investment. You don't have to worry about the mics and the lights and the this and the that. You saw how we walked.
We walked in and like we started. I was like, "Are we just starting right now?" And you were like, "Yeah."
No, because I have the experience of trying to do it myself. Of like, the guest would come and they'd have to be sitting around for an hour waiting while like we're dealing with our technical problems. Whereas here you walk in and you get it done right away, right? And by the way, when you have delays like that, when you're doing a podcast on your own because you think you're saving a couple of bucks, you're actually killing your podcast, because if somebody has to wait for 30 to 60 minutes because you're getting your shit together, by the time you sit down, they're pissed off and you're annoyed.
Totally, the energy's not the same
energy's
anymore.
not the same. It's dead. And so that's why it's important. So you should definitely do that. And the other thing suggestion I wanted to make to you is, in your mind, would you default to doing solos or guests?
I would want to do a mix of both.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I would suggest to you to do 70 to 80% solos.
Really?
Yeah, you can carry it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you can definitely carry it.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and now it's like we're in such a different time within the last year because of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You can literally go in and you can do all of your pre-production so easily because you're extracting the knowledge that you have in your mind and you're just asking ChatGPT to put it in a bullet point format for you. So when you see that bullet, it's your
trigger,
to go into something. And that's how everybody's doing it. It's not a secret. So that's, I would do that. And the great thing about doing that is that you don't have to worry about scheduling with guests. And it's just so much cleaner. And you can go in and it's beautiful because if you go in and you sit down for, let's say, 30 minutes a week, it's nothing crazy, 30 minutes a week, and you do all the pre-production, so you prepare and you shoot it. You make sure you dress however you want to dress. You go and you do it, and from that 30-minute video, from that 30-minute recording, you've got the YouTube video, the audio, multiple short forms, and that's just such a nice supplement to your existing content mix.
To add some depth. I think what I'm craving is more depth in my content. And
that's where you get it. You get it from long form monologues.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. I've been really, really feeling it. I've literally talked to Sarah about it probably 10 times since she started 6 weeks ago. It just feels like we're getting organized as a company since she just came on. And so I know I really want to do it. It's just like, okay, laying the groundwork. But thank you for that inspiration and thank you for the kind words because I felt like it's the push that I needed.
Good. Yeah. Well, no, but now I'm going to hold you to it.
Okay, all right.
Now I'm going to be following up with you in a couple of months saying, hey, like, listen.
That accountability is good. I like it.
Good. What's the plan for the next 12 months besides the podcast?
Yeah. Well, continuing to evolve and shift my content to where I'm at now, talking to camera, sharing my life, pulling my phone out in all the everyday moments that are, interesting or funny or whatever, really continuing to evolve as a creator and storytell as a creator in this next phase of my life where I'm like happy in my great relationship. We're getting married, like we're in this house, like we're just like moving forward. Yeah. So that for sure. My next big brand project that most of the work has been done, but it hasn't been launched yet, is I designed a collection with Joe Fresh that is launching in January. So this was like 2 years ago. They came to me and I did all my inspo and designs, and then so it's been on the go for quite a while.
They're an awesome partner.
They're amazing.
We've worked with them
I know
for
you
years.
got totally yes, and I know Valeria has been doing the edits. Like I've had some edits as well to lead up to this fashion collection dropping that I quite literally I couldn't believe actually how much freedom they gave me. I was like, you sure? I want this? They were like, yeah, great, that works. I was like, oh, okay.
They've always been so like, creator forward.
Yeah.
I've always been really impressed with them because we started working with them maybe in like 2018, 2019, around there.
Wow.
And they've always been so forward thinking when it comes to creators. And you see, like, they tap so many amazing, Canadian creators.
Totally.
And give them this freedom, and they really have their shit together.
They really, really do. Yeah. They are going through some changes right now. So
all companies
are. But I agree. They've really done this influencer creator forward model. And I think it shows in how relevant they are in the discussion of affordable fashion in Canada. Like they're very relevant. It's am I going to go to Zara? Am I going to go to Joe Fresh? It's like, that's because they've really worked with creators to enhance that relevancy. So that is coming out in January. I'm very excited about that. We just shot it a few weeks ago. So that was really fun. And then honestly, I'm going to be really transparent with you. I actually, in this moment, don't know so much for brand partnerships what it's going to look like in 2026, and I'm trying not to get scared. Last year at this time,
why? What's your concern?
Because
Tell me, this is my thing.
Yeah, I haven't signed a lot of or really any 2026 partnerships yet. And last year at this time, I had a few couple big ones that were going to carry me
I'm smiling because you have nothing to worry about.
Okay, because I'm literally oh my gosh.
You literally have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and I'm trying to trust that it'll happen.
Yeah.
And that I just need to, I am evolving my content right now. So I understand things are shifting, and that the right brands will find me as I continue to just be consistent, be
putting
myself
out
in it all.
content, yes.
Putting out a ton of quality content. But I'm a little nervous because I just made this huge investment in my VP operations.
So I completely understand. So I apologize for interrupting, but
no,
I want to dive into it really quick because this is something that has happened to us over the last 9 years, and I'm very familiar with how you're feeling.
Okay.
I feel it myself, from time to time. But the reality is that this industry is very unpredictable. So I understand what you're doing coming from your finance background, where everything, like, you have decades of trends, decades of data that you can go back to. The thing is, here, there are so many different factors that influence how and when and what brands are doing, that it has literally nothing to do with you. Whenever we've had a slowdown, and I would call our like a director of partnerships, because we have like a person who's dedicated for that, and I would just ask a handful of questions. I would say, are you seeing anything going on in the industry? Meaning, I would go to that person and ask, but I had already done my research. At the time it was Google, now it's ChatGPT, to ask and find out, is there anything on a macro level going on? Is there a shift in the industry in terms of sentiment towards creators? The answer was always no. My second question was, are you hearing anything negative regarding Valeria in terms of her personal brand? No. The people who you are speaking with, are they pointing out any issues or problems or anything that they don't like? No. Is it a positive sentiment? Yes. So whenever I hear that it's not the industry as a whole, it's not Valeria specifically, then I know everything's okay, and it's just a regular,
just timing and
you're gonna find, as time goes by, you're gonna try to look at trends in terms of when the revenue comes in, and you're going to find that it's very hard to predict. On a macro annually, I think we all know that there's like a couple of months in the summer that fall off, but you're not going to be able to predict the other ones. And what's happened when there was a time where there was like not a lot of interest, we always just like kept focusing on the content and kept focusing on producing like the best content that would have the correct mix, with enough of it getting reach, telling the story, really, honing in on the craft. And then all of a sudden, like, we'd have like, we'd get to the end of the month and it'd be like, what's going on? And then in 3 days we'd sign like 4 deals, like lucrative deals. And then the month ended up being the biggest month ever. So I just want you to know, like,
thank you.
You have to, don't worry about it. When I say don't worry about it, still take action. The only thing that I would potentially change, you mentioned something to me earlier, is you said, now I completely don't care about the content that I'm putting it out there. The only thing that I would, and you may be doing this already, is I would say to you, have a portion of your content, let's say a percentage, 5 or 10% of your content, that is always and consistently what I call top of funnel content or discovery content. And a lot of those are trends you pick up on TikTok, or proven formats that you have that work in terms of volume, in terms of getting reach and therefore followers. Always do a certain, like, whatever your percentage of that discovery content, always be doing those, because that's what you'll find is that trailing 30-day reach number, that's going to coincide with not getting enough inbound brand interest, because the more your reach is, it's not only the consumers who are seeing it, it's the marketing decision makers. Because I always say that the marketing decision makers, they find talent in their feeds, not in their inbox, because everyone's like, oh, I'm going to go outbound. You can go outbound later on, or maybe you can now, depending on volume.
No, most of it is inbound.
Of course it is, but it's not inbound. You think it's inbound. It's not. It's you are constantly, every day, you are executing on an outbound behavior, and that is creating content and putting it out. People are just responding to your outbound interest.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's what it is. Every time you put up a piece of content, you are going outbound and reaching out to brands, especially if you're tagging all the brands in that content.
Always.
Since
I started.
Well, thank you. So,
I'm not afraid. And actually, I want to say this. Thank you for your messaging around being really generous with tagging and all these things.
Yeah, I've always talked about it.
Because I think a lot of people, creators, are like, I don't want to use the word stingy, but they're like, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not posting about it.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
But it's like, how do you expect to get paid, and how do you expect things to come if brands can't find you? And so you guys have always been really clear about, like, tag everything, everything. And like, that's how partnerships come, is like they see you that way.
Well, there's a logic behind it, right? So first of all, if you look at kind of the old editorial model, so if you look at like Cosmo or Vogue or any kind of hard copy, in my time, I used to read there's a Details magazine for men, like men's fashion, and I would look at it, and whenever they would have like a fashion spread, if they were doing like sneakers or jeans or whatever, they would tell you this is who they are and this is where you can buy their stuff. And those weren't ads. Those were clearly not ads, because I saw what were ads. And that wasn't ad. That was content. So in any type of content that you're making, especially as a creator, of course you should tag the brands. And the reason you should tag the brands is two reasons. One is so you're putting your hand up to the brand saying, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here because if that piece of content performs, you're going to get their attention and they're going to be like, oh, well, okay, something happened there. And the second thing is you're actually providing a benefit to your audience because you're providing.
They're going to ask anyways.
They're going to ask anyways. And if they don't ask, they're just like, they're pissed off. They're like, why isn't she telling me? Like, I want to know where it is. So you're actually, the content is better if you can show people where they can get these products.
I would say there's a third benefit too, which is other people don't know if you tagging the brands is paid or not.
Okay.
So let's say I go and stay at a hotel and I tag it a bunch. Other people don't know if that hotel hosted me or not, but another hotel might see that and say, oh, she does hotel content. Oh, okay. And partnerships might come out of that.
Partnerships might come out of that. I mean, typically you should be officially kind of disclosing in the sponsored posts. And
Totally.
And so the way we do it is like, if we have a brand partner who we have like an official deliverable for that we actually invoice for, that we will tag that
But
as
if it's like
sponsored.
thrown in as like if you're working with them.
But we don't do thrown-ins.
Okay.
You know how we do it? We basically say like, okay, yeah, this is a sponsor, but then we always support, like we prioritize the support of our own clients, right?
Yeah, same.
So chances are when we go to that client the next time, we're gonna, like, let's say we'll go to visit that hotel, because if that hotel, if we had done, if they had supported us previously through brand partnerships, we're gonna go there again. And if we go there again, at that point, now we're tagging them organically, because that wasn't a paid thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how
totally.
I look at it. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yes,
This was a really fun chat.
I really enjoyed this. I'm always thinking, I'm thinking to myself, we should consider doing a part 2 in some time, because
I love that.
want to follow along in your progress.
I would absolutely love that.
This was awesome.
Thank you so much for having me, Gary.
Alessia, thank you so much.
Thank you.